So I'll explain a little bit about how the AP math classes work. If a student is taking AP Calculus AB or BC their senior year, and I'll explain the difference between those in a little bit, that would mean their junior year a student needs to be in trigonometry or math analysis, and generally Algebra 2 as a sophomore. Anytime after Algebra 2 a student can take AP Statistics. And that's usually the pathway that a student would have and the time frame that by sophomore year be in Algebra 2 in order to make it to Calculus by their senior year. So as far as the college credit that can be earned, if we take the AP Statistics exam, most universities will count that as an elementary or introductory statistics course on their campus. The AP Calculus AB exam generally equates to Calculus 1 at any universities the students would attend. If they're taking the AP Calculus BC exam, some universities will give them Calc 1 and Calc 2 credit. It could be that they just earn Calc 1 credit depending upon what their score is on the exam. We do offer UMSL's college credit for calculus. UMSL's course is called Analytic Geometry and Calculus 1. Their course number is Math 1800. However, that is only Calculus 1. UMSL doesn't offer Calculus 2 for the high school level. Currently this year, the Calc 1 course for Calc AB is not through UMSL, it's through Lindenwood. And that's Mr. Brown that's handling that this year. But generally, we're using UMSL for Math 1800, and that would just be Calc 1. If they're taking statistics, then UMSL's course is called Math 1310, Elementary Statistical Methods. And that, again, would generally equate to either an elementary or introductory stats course in college. So as far as signing up for the credit, for college credit, either the UMSL credit or the AP exam, and this would also apply to Lindenwood credit, the AP course, the AP exam, registration generally happens in March. And we try in guidance to handle that by spring break, usually to get everybody registered. It's open eligibility. Anyone can sign up for an AP exam. And in fact, a student doesn't even have to be taking the AP course to sign up for the AP exam. If a student is already proficient or experienced in some particular subject matter that an AP exam exists for, they can sign up for that AP exam without taking the course. The course, the AP exam generally costs about $89. That varies a little bit from year to year. This is the 2011, 2012 value that I've got, and it does change a little bit from year to year, but it's been fairly stable lately. If they're taking UMSL's Calc credit, registration for that generally happens during the month of January and ends the first week of February. They do have to have a 3.0 GPA and either be a junior or a senior in order to take the UMSL credit. The cost this year is $300. It's $60 per credit hour for a 5-hour course. If they're taking UMSL's statistics course, again, the registration is going to happen in January. It'll end the first week of February. And then the eligibility, same eligibility at $60 a credit hour, that comes out to $180. Lindenwood's credit for calculus also is going to be handled in the spring. I don't have the exact date for that because that's a new thing that we're doing this year with Lindenwood. I believe the eligibility is just wide open again, and the cost is probably comparable to what UMSL is doing for that. Okay. Scores for each of the courses and how those grades transfer to the college are based this way. At Francis Howell North, AP Statistics or AP Calculus are based on, the grades are calculated using 40% of their grade comes from each quarter, and 20% is a semester exam. And so that's the same for each of the courses when we're calculating the grades for Francis Howell North. To send the course grade for statistics to UMSL, I simply average the 2 semester grades that I use here at North and average those and send them to UMSL. If I'm sending a course grade to UMSL, UMSL does require a comprehensive semester exam over just Calc 1 material for the Calc course. So as a result, UMSL's course covers the equivalent of what we have in chapters 1 through 4, 6, and 7. And so chapter 5, though we cover it and it is included in one of the semesters here, it's not part of UMSL's Calc course. If you're taking calculus at the UMSL campus, you're not going to see that material in a Calc 1 course. So as a result, I don't include that in calculating the course grade for UMSL. UMSL does require a comprehensive exam over the Calc 1 material, though, so I just count that in as another test when I'm calculating their grade. If you're taking the AP exam, your grade or score on that exam is just based on the AP exam that they would take in May. It is up to the individual university that you would transfer the grade, the score to, as to how they handle that score. Okay. A little bit of an overview for UMSL's calc course and the calc course here at North, just because it is a little bit more unusual. For the AP Calculus AB course, which this year is being handled with Lindenwood, for Francis Howell North Semester 1 grade, there are generally 4 chapters that are covered in the semester exam, and that is how we calculate the semester grade for Francis Howell North. The second semester, there are 3 additional chapters that are covered, and then the semester exam, that's how we calculate the semester 2 grade for Francis Howell North. But because Chapter 5 is not something that UMSL covers, then to calculate UMSL's grade, we take the Calc 1 exam from UMSL's math department, these first 4 chapters from the first semester and Chapter 6 and 7 from the last semester, average all that together, and that's the course grade that a student gets if you're taking the Calc AB course. That's how the UMSL course grade is determined. If a student is taking Calculus BC, because it's essentially equivalent to Calc 1 and Calc 2, the Calc 2 material is not figured into UMSL's Calc 1 grade. Again, chapters 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 7 are figured into the grade along with a comprehensive exam from UMSL. There's an asterisk here because some years Chapter 6 occurs in the first semester, some years Chapter 6 is handled in the second semester. It just depends upon how the timing goes with each semester. Semester 1 for Calc BC is generally chapters 1 through 5 or chapters 1 through 6. And then semester 2 for Francis Howell North's grade is generally chapters 6 through 10 or 7 through 10. And then each semester has an exam. Okay. Some students wonder whether they should take UMSL credit or even Lindenwood credit, since we're doing that this year, or the AP exam, or both, or neither. And there's not a single answer that you can give for every student. It varies by student. It also varies by which university a student would go to or decide to apply to. The students who generally decide to do neither the AP exam nor the university credit, they usually are deciding that they're going to retake the course in college. They're more interested just in the course and getting exposed to the material this year, their senior year, their junior year, maybe even their sophomore year when they're taking one of those AP courses. And so they decide they're just going to retake it. They might decide that it's not a needed credit for them when they get to the university, depending upon what their major is going to be. Some students may feel like they're not confident. Even though they've done well in the course, they feel like they're not confident and feel like they should take the course over, or they feel like they haven't been successful. Some students only desire to get high school credit, and they're not interested in the college credit. So those are the reasons that I've heard over the years as to why a student might not take college credit at all. Generally, if they're taking UMSL credit, or again this year with Lindenwood, often it might be because it's a simple transfer. If you're going to be in-state, it might be a very simple matter of transferring credit from the University of Missouri at St. Louis to the university that they're going to attend, especially if it's in the University of Missouri system. It's based on consistent work. The grade that goes to UMSL or whatever university that we're working with, such as Lindenwood, is just based on day in, day out how students doing each day and their course tests and the exam. It's not based on a single test. Some students feel that they don't test well, and so they would rather not have a course grade devoted or depending just on a single test. UMSL is certainly cheaper than taking the same course next year as a college freshman. And so generally $300 or $60 a credit hour, that's much cheaper than they're going to have at the university once they're attending there. Students who decide to take the AP exam may decide that they just are interested in experiencing a college level exam. It is a challenging, rigorous exam. Some students may look at how easily the AP exam and scores will transfer, especially if you're going out of state. Universities may not be as familiar with UMSL's program, but the AP exam is a nationwide, worldwide sort of program, so some universities are very comfortable accepting the AP exam credit if they score well enough. Some students are definitely interested in taking the AP exam because it exempts them from the second semester exam as long as they have a C or better in the course. And the AP exam certainly is less expensive than the University of Missouri or Lindenwood credit because it's only about $86, $89 as opposed to $60 per credit hour that we're spending for a course. Occasionally students will do both. Possibly they could double up. This is very rare that a student would get college credit for both the university credit that they've taken and for the AP exam. It's very rare that that would happen, but I have heard of that. There is some flexibility. Frequently, a student may want to delay their decision until late in the school year to determine whether they're going to college, and they get to the point where they've already hit March or February and they have to apply for the credit. So they decide to keep their options open by taking the university credit and later signing up for the AP exam credit so that they can delay their decision as to which credit or which school they're going to attend until later in the semester. And again, if they take both, they are exempt from the second semester exam here at North as long as they have a C or better. Okay. One thing that's very important to recognize is that the receiving institution, whichever university a student attends next year or their senior year.
Olivia Suntimer, please come to the main office.
I'll let you edit that part out. It's important to note that the receiving institution is who decides whether credit's going to be accepted for transfer. So that's the university the student's going to attend as a freshman in college. You really need to contact the admissions office or the registrar at any university to find out whether the credit is going to transfer or how they handle that. And that's true of the University of Missouri credit or Lindenwood credit or the AP exam. Find out how they're going to handle that. And with the AP exam, find out what score they require. Because the highest score is a 5, the lowest score is a 1. You want to find out if you have to get a 3 or a 4 or a 5 on that exam in order for it to transfer. A series of questions you might want to check. Ask whether they accept the University of Missouri St. Louis's course, a particular course number for credit. You might want to also find out whether it transfers as a particular course, because there are some may transfer it as Calc 1, some may transfer it as a Calc elective or a Math elective, some may just give it a general elective, in which case it's still cheaper than what you'd pay in college, but if you're hoping to exempt from all math courses in the future, and it's not going to transfer as a particular course, it may require that you still take a math course as a freshman or a sophomore in college. You might want to find out if it meets minimum requirements for required math courses toward your degree. Lots of universities have different types of calc courses or different statistics courses, so you want to find out whether the course that you're going to be transferring actually will meet the requirements for you to continue on with your degree, or will you be taking yet another calc course or another statistics course in order to get your degree. Find out whether you have to take other math courses beyond that for your degree. Would you have to take a math placement test? Some universities will waive that math placement test. You might want to find out whether having that college credit will allow you to take courses beyond those courses that they're going to transfer as, or are you going to have to meet other prerequisite requirements at some point? And also find out whether that affects your GPA, because if you have a scholarship that's tied to a particular GPA requirement, you'll want to find out whether that's going to affect your GPA in a negative manner that could affect whether you keep your scholarship. Okay. Finally, some people occasionally ask, which AP book should we buy? Should we purchase an AP review book? And which one? The quick one is just, the quick answer is just whichever one you use. A suggestion that I've heard that I've passed along frequently is
Olivia Suntimer, please report to the main office.
How far back from there you want to go?
You can just start that slide over.
Frequently I'm asked if the parent or student wants to buy an AP review book, which one should we buy? And the quickest, simplest answer is basically the one that you're going to use. One suggestion that I passed along frequently is go to university bookstore or go to some other bookstore, look online, maybe at the public library, find a book and review book and pick out a topic that you already know pretty well. Look through a page and read through that, and if you find nothing that contradicts what you already understand about the topic, or hopefully if it adds to your understanding of the topic, that may be a book that you'd want to use. That it would be one that you go to frequently. And so that's probably going to be a good choice for you as a result. That's it.